We're starting off this episode with a bang as 4-star defensive tackle becomes the first commit of the series, and a very big one at that. Our defensive line needs some help, and I'm excited to get it with McCreary here. Was a pretty tight battle with SMU and Arkansas, but we ultimately came out on top. And despite the Week 5 visits, Hendricks is going to end up choosing Maryland over us. We're going to lose on the 6'4" deep threat receiver. So it wasn't all positive in the recruiting. I'll be going over recruiting a little bit more in depth following this game against Alabama. Yes, Alabama at home is the opponent here, and ranked number 2 in the nation. This one might get ugly. We were able to stick around with Missouri for the majority of that game, keep it interesting until the very end, but things might get ugly here. Nate Johnson, of course, still having a really good season, but he had 3 turnovers in that game against Missouri that really, I think, were a key force in that loss. Need him to be better with the football here today if we want a chance of even keeping this respectable. I think our chances of winning are pretty much 0. But if we can show that, we're not on an entirely different tier, which, I think we are. If we can fight and keep this close, I'm going to count that as a win here in this game. 3rd and 1. The give to Young is stopped up behind the line of scrimmage. We're forced to punt on our first drive, and now Jalen Milroe and the Alabama offense takes over. Our defense, which has struggled in these watched games, faces their toughest tests. Yeah, just look at all those stars on the Alabama offensive line. And, of course, Milroe himself also with the star rating. But a good stop there to force 3rd and 1. Trips on the left side formation for Alabama here. They're going right back to the run. And this time they get a better hole for the running back to run through and a fresh set of downs. From the 34-yard line, they're going back to the run here. Very run-heavy start and a nice stop there by transfer Fontenette. 2nd down and 8. This time it's a read option. Milroe keeps it, and he's got a big gain out near midfield. This guy is a superb athlete at the quarterback position. Not only does he have that really strong arm, but of course, he can take off and run for big chunks like we saw there. One of the tougher quarterbacks to stop in the entire nation. Alabama not putting much on his plate here early, though. Very run heavy script here. They think they can bully us with their offensive line, and I honestly don't think they're all that wrong, but a first down through the air that time around gets them into scoring range. Milroe hands off to the back again. This one's a nice chunk gain, 9.5 yards. Brings up 2nd and inches. Alabama just churning a ton of clock here on this drive as well. Play action pass is incomplete. Patterson in coverage, but it kind of just looked dropped if I'm being honest. Don't know if Patterson had much to do with that incompletion. Another 3rd down opportunity here, but whenever we get to 3rd down, it's 3rd and very short, and Alabama picks it up with ease. Now 1st and goal from the 8. Empty for Milroe. Has a clean pocket, throws for the end zone. It is incomplete. 2nd and goal now. Give to the back. He's pushing forward through the middle of the defense. Down to the 3. Can we force this into a field goal attempt after this long drive? That would be a win for this defense. Milroe dancing around in the backfield, finds a man in the corner of the end zone. After all that time, Alabama scores a touchdown on their opening drive. Can't cover really for that long. Defense got to do a better job of containing Milroe here, but that is no easy pass. And then instantly, Nate Johnson comes out and throws a pick on the first play of our next possession. Alabama gets another instant red zone opportunity. And there you see the turnover belt. It's a cool feature they've added into the game for these celebrations. First time we've seen it in action. Play action. Milroe. All day in the pocket. Eventually just tries to escape it. Patterson, a nice job keeping contained, though. Keeping it just for a gain of 2. 2nd and 8. The give to the back is stopped up after a minimal gain. Okay, here we go. 3rd and 5. The best third down opportunity our defense has had for a stop yet. Running back in motion, Milroe. Trying to find something, and the receiver comes back and gets it. Another play where the defense looks solid initially, but Milroe just has a million years to process. All those stars on that offensive line are putting in some work in pass protection so far in this game. Read option. Milroe stopped up by Patterson. Gotten a couple of nice stops on Milroe here in the first quarter. Now it's 3rd and 8. Another pass for Alabama to the corner of the end zone. Broken up by the defense. And so we do force Alabama to 3 on this possession. I think you're going to take that, given that we threw an interception and got them right into the red zone instantly. Turnovers continue to be a problem in SEC play for Johnson, who was really good at taking care of the ball against the smaller programs we faced at the top of the schedule, and not like Virginia Tech was even all that small of a program either. We got a hold on the offense, backing us up 10 yards. 2nd and 16 now inside our own 10. Oh boy. Young in motion. Pump fake. Johnson barely got that one off, and I think we'll take the gain of 7 there. Bringing us to 3rd and 9. Johnson instantly pressured again. Got the ball out quickly, and he finds Sherrill up to the 34-yard line. Excellent stuff from Johnson there. I mean, 2 straight plays where he had defenders right in his face, and he delivered a very nice ball and got us out of the shadow of our own goal line. Johnson back to pass again. Has a man for a gain of 9. Michael Bell on the reception. 3rd and 1. The give to the back, and it's going to get enough to move the chains. Not much in addition to that. That's all we needed on that attempt. Under center now. A give to Young. Stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. They'll call it a loss of 1. Alabama dominating the trenches so far early in this game. Johnson, quick throw again to Stowers. That'll get about half the yardage we need. More manageable 3rd. Johnson's having to make these lightning quick decisions, and he's doing, for the most part, a good job of it. This one's picked off again right when you give a guy a compliment. And oh no, that's going to go all the way to the crib for 6. Jalen Mbakwe. A 46-yard pick 6. That's the danger when you need to make these lightning quick reads. The defense is on top of it. You're not really giving yourself time to recognize it. And that's been both of these picks. Just instant, kind of receive the snap and make the throw. Not really put much time into the processing. And when you have a defensive line that's dominating, you get the quarterback maybe a little bit skittish, scared to take the time to read the defense, and he's just throwing his first read, it kind of looks like, out there most of the time. Seeing that defensive belt again for the second time. Not my favorite thing. Been very up and down performance from Johnson. 2 interceptions, but otherwise excellent stuff, and that one's incomplete over the middle. So we've got 3rd and 7. The first quarter going to come to an end. It's going to be 17-0 unless we get a massive play here. Instead, 19 comes screeching off the line for Alabama. I mean, Johnson also slow to get up here. That's going to end the first quarter. We're giving the ball right back to the opposition here. And some nice vision there by the back, able to pick up a first down on that run. Alabama scores here. We could be talking about a game that's going to get ugly in a hurry. Milroe back to pass. Has a back over the middle. Inside the 10, just like that. Doesn't even look like Alabama's sweating out here in this game. Nice stop there. Patterson again in on the play. His run defense has been showing some flashes so far in this one. Another solid run fit there. Makes it 3rd and goal from the 6. We stopped them down deep in the red zone once before. Can we do it again? Keep this below a 3-touchdown game. Not going to happen this time, and we get a touchdown. Law here in the corner of the end zone for the second time today. Alabama leads 24-0, and the second quarter just started. I'm not sure how deep we're going in this game. We're getting cooked. The offense doesn't come up with something right here on this drive. I have a hard time seeing this game being anywhere close to competitive. A good run to start the drive by Young. Makes it 2nd and 2. We're going under center here. Young not going to be able to get there. It'll be 3rd and inches. We do not need much here. How do we choose to get it? We'll try through the air. Johnson going over the middle, and it is hauled in by Stowers in traffic. Absolute dot from Nate Johnson gets us into Alabama territory. And then another good run by Alexander. Offensive line doing a much better job so far on this drive than they have. Giving us push in the run game. Giving Johnson a clean pocket on that 3rd and inches as well. And then we had the first down, but Young loses it. But another 3rd and short for us. It's time to the air once more. Stowers picks it up again. He's been heavily involved from that tight end spot and highly productive for us so far to start the year. This one to Stowers again. This is an all tight end drive. Tight end in the run game. Just like that, we're at the 3-yard line. Our best drive by far of the day. Got to cap it off with a touchdown. And it's incomplete. The catch there would be 6 on the board for Vanderbilt. Instead, going with a jet touch pass here to Micah Bell, sifting through traffic and finding his way into the end zone. What a play for the first score of the game for the home team. Finally giving the fans something to cheer about in this matchup. Once again, proving that kind of turnovers are the only thing that's been able to stop this Vanderbilt offense for the most part. Gain of 4 to start the drive for Alabama here. See how they respond to the first Vanderbilt score of the game. Milroe gonna go down. Patterson again. His best game that we've watched so far pretty easily. Great stuff from him. 3rd and long, you gotta get a stop here. A stop here would mean that momentum is starting to swing in Vanderbilt's favor. And look at all those Vanderbilt jerseys swarming to the ball there. After the touchdown, we force a 3-and-out, and we'll start at midfield with this next drive. Nate Johnson trying to fit one into Skinner. That was a really good throw, but was not complete. Nate Johnson previewed that his accuracy might be not great, in episode 1, but I have not seen it be a problem at all. This guy is absolutely throwing strikes all over the field. Really, kind of the decision making has been more the only time he's had issues. 3rd and 9. A juke move gets him for the first down. There we go. A rare sight of his legs doing the work. Loss of 2 there for Alexander. Puts us in 2nd and long. Right back to the ground game here. And this is one of my few complaints about the gameplay here. Also been playing a little bit of Road to Glory off the channel. And just the amount of times the CPU wants to run on 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 10. It's just way too much. It sets you up to fail with 3rd and long just like that. We're attempting a 52 and a half yard field goal, it looks like here. Kick is up, and he drilled it from 52. Let's go. That is no guarantee at all with college kickers, so we'll take it. Just a 2-touchdown game now. As Alabama has the ball back, going with a wide receiver screen. After the 2-minute warning here, it is 2nd and short. Milroe instantly pressured, but recognized it and got the ball out in a hurry. Fontenette nearly had himself a big-time play there. Like the aggressive play call. Milroe checks down again for a gain of 4. Defense looking better in the second quarter than they did in the first. That much I'll say for sure. Do give up the conversion here. Alabama still in Vanderbilt territory, despite the fact that I just said our defense is looking better. Still think that's true. They're not quite getting the big chunk plays. We will get one there to Law, though, who's had a very strong game so far. Under 90 seconds remain here in the first half. Milroe looking to set up a screen. And as soon as I compliment the defense, they're giving up 10-plus yard plays at a time here. Running some press on this first down. Underneath, it's hauled in for a gain of 5. Another drive that just looks like it's a little bit too easy. Just gains after gains after gains. We finally get an incomplete pass there. 3rd and 5. Stadium pulse is about as high as it gets here in this stadium. Milroe to the end zone. It is caught in traffic for another Alabama passing touchdown before half. Momentum was going Vanderbilt's way a little bit, and Alabama shuts it down with a touchdown to a freshman receiver. Not easy to play as a freshman at Alabama. Kind of feels like we need something here from this drive with 33 seconds left. What can we come up with? A big gain to start it off for Skinner. We'll call our first timeout. All right. Some potential here past the 40-yard line. With 27 seconds, that one's incomplete. We can at least get in field goal range. At the minimum, that would be good. Don't love a check down there, though. Gain of 2 isn't really doing you anything other than wasting a timeout at this point. Johnson going deep on 3rd and 8. It is incomplete. Targeting Junior Sherrill. Don't mind the shot there, but it's going to be 31-10 10 going into the half. Of course, the 2 Alabama interceptions have been the story so far. Same thing plagued us last game, plaguing us here again. If Alabama scores a touchdown here, we might just have to call this a mercy rule killing. We've been outclassed, other than that one stretch in the second quarter where we thought we might be getting some momentum. Turns out Alabama just, we forced one stop on defense. It was pretty much the story there. Good run stop here, though. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 8, excuse me. Halfback in motion. So Milroe will be alone there in the backfield, and they quickly throw it to him. That'll bring up a 3rd and medium. Been able to get a stop in this scenario before. What a throw and catch there. A lot of Vanderbilt jerseys in the area, but perfectly thrown ball. Gets Alabama into Vanderbilt territory once again. Milroe throw to the receiver. Good blocking there. Sets him up for a 1st down gain. Give to the back. He's trying to find the edge. Not going to do it. Good contain by the Vanderbilt defense. Right back to the run game here on 2nd down. 3rd and 6 upcoming. Vanderbilt showing press. Milroe back to pass. Clean pocket and finds a man. It's the tight end. All the way down to the 5. It's 1st and goal. Alabama. Man in motion. Give to the back. He's got solid blocking, but the hole closed quickly. Some good run defense by Vanderbilt there. 4 wide now for Alabama. They're going to run out of it. They're going to get down to the 1. Thought for a second there they might score. But instead it's 3rd and goal. Half a yard away from the end zone. They're going to give it to the back. Sifting his way through traffic. He finds his way into the end zone. Alabama scores a touchdown. Makes it a 4-possession game and pretty much ruins any chances Vanderbilt has in this one. The early turnovers were just backbreakers in this game. Alabama capitalized on them. And I think I'm calling a mercy rule killing. I think I've seen enough of this team be dominated by this offense, particularly. Into the 3rd quarter, it'd be 45-10. Vanderbilt getting some stuff going late, and they're actually going to make it look kind of respectable in the end. We'll go from being down 35 to being down just 14 in the end. But make no mistake, this was absolutely a blowout. I'll take the garbage time stats, though. Will help our playing style for receivers and quarterbacks. Milroe just had total command in this game. Felt like he had an answer for every single situation. The run game, we had some good run stops throughout, but for the most part, the run game was very successful for Alabama as well. There wasn't much we were doing well, except for passing. But if you include the fact that we had 2 interceptions passing too, then we weren't even that particularly good in that category either. Johnson with 300 yards on 3 touchdowns, but also 3 picks. Could not run the ball at all. Alexander averaged 2.6. Maybe should have got him more carries. Stowers with 9 for 89. Good game from him. Skinner ends up with 93 yards and a touchdown. Bell with 60 yards and a touchdown. Sack given up by Hansen, but only the 1 sack is pretty good, honestly, from our offensive line. We got 1 sack
because
ourselves.
The game against Alabama was cut short due to it being, well, a blowout. I wanted to take an extended look here at
the recruiting class, give an update as to where we are. And then at the very end, talk a little bit about maybe a new potential house rule for future seasons. Starting off with, of course, we got a really good news. Our first commit of the series, Roger McCreary, 85 finesse moves. He's going to come in with next season. I'm very excited to have him on the squad. Strength is in a good spot as well. Tackling, really good athlete, and this defensive line needs a lot of help. Don't want to talk about the guy underneath him, losing out to Isaac Hendricks. We still haven't technically lost, I think, but at the end of this week, he's recruiting to Miami. It shows that we didn't offer him a scholarship or have him visit. We did, but it just kind of got removed when I removed him from the board. Added him back on because for the guys that we narrowly miss out on, I want to remember them and look at them come the time that they're added to the roster for next season. Next up, kind of on our recruiting board, is a bucket of players only getting 10 hours. And that's really because they're 3-star players that we're the only ones going after them. I mean, Nora really wants to go to Georgia. He's got some good interest in them despite them not reciprocating that interest. But ultimately, because we're the only team going for these 3-star players, I'm comfortable maybe opening the door for a little bit of risk for a team to swoop in and gain a lot of interest quickly. But this is just temporary. We will be giving these players additional hours in the near future. Given this 3-star player 50, this is the first week we've had him on the board. I always give the player 50 the first week. It just allows you to really quickly get into the top 8 or the top 5 or whatever we're talking about here in case of a player. For example, DJ here, if he were to go to his top 8 next week, we want to make sure we're in it before we scout him. So probably won't be getting 50 for long, but that's just what I do with all the guys that I put on my board. Lewis Brady is the ultra athletic quarterback here that we're trying to recruit, 3-star player here, and the last of the 3 stars. Tulane is making a late push here, but he's probably about 2 weeks away from committing, and I don't think, even with the visit they've scheduled, they'll have enough time to close that gap before he commits to our team. You may be wondering why we have so few minutes allocated to a couple of linemen here, and it really has to do with this tackle here at the top. He's the last opportunity we have in this class to get a 4-star tackle, but we are in a very tight battle with Notre Dame, and it looks like they've got the edge so far. Not only are they on top, but I think that bar's grown just a little bit bigger than ours has in this last week. So in order to close the gap, I'm trying to get a complimentary visit going for week 9. I have both of these guys scheduled for week 9, and so I'm comfortable, kind of like I am with these 3 stars, giving them less minutes. I don't know if you still get the complimentary visit bonus if they've already committed, so I want to reduce their hours. Hopefully they won't commit before week 9, and then that visit can kind of just seal the deal. It also frees up a lot of hours for us to pursue the other players. Trevante Baldridge here, coming in for a visit in week 8, and I think that is perfectly timed because that might be what helps us seal the deal over Florida State. They are making more progress per week than we are, but I think Trevante Baldridge is going to commit to us next week when he has his visit. If we didn't have a visit, I'd be pretty concerned against Ball State, so I'm pretty confident we'll win, and of course, here are his ratings. Very excited to get this player in. Really hope that Florida State doesn't come out and somehow steal him away at the last minute, but with their visit not being till week 13, he's definitely going to commit before then. Jim Hayes has been somebody we've been tracking for a long time. Now, Kansas and Alabama might steal him away for us, but I think we have enough of a lead that hopefully he can commit, especially with, again, another player visiting next week. That should give us a big boost. Hopefully it creates just too large of a gap for even Alabama to close at that point. Already talked Awasika here, and now Raphael Hakeem is really somebody that I added because we lost out to Maryland on Hendricks here. Wanted to replace him. Now we're going to be going against LSU. It looks like they're not making a ton of progress right now though, so I'm hoping that we can just continue to make a lot of progress by putting our maximum hours into this player. I haven't even scouted him yet, so I don't know if he's good. So one of my higher priorities in the next week or two of scouting will be to get this guy scouted. Now, here at the top are a couple of perhaps controversial players that I've added to the board. There has been a strategy. Some might call it an exploit so far in the early days of College Football 25 that EA has allegedly said they're going to patch in soon-to-be updates, where kind of midway into the season, you can look for some 4-star players that don't have any offers from other teams, and you can kind of steal them away. We didn't have any corners that I liked on the board, so I looked for a couple corners and added Zadalis and Drugsma here, who has 94 speed. In Drugsma's case, also just an elite name. I've been debating whether or not this is something that we should allow, kind of the use of that strategy. It does seem a little overpowered. I wouldn't go so far as to call it an exploit, but I do think it might be a little bit overpowered. One of the reasons I chose Vanderbilt in the first place is because I knew once the game came out, I would put in the time to come up with what would be kind of a meta strategy, or just a strategy that I would be very confident would be very successful. And I didn't want to create a dynasty where I'd have to put in a bunch of house rules to kind of nerf myself to just make it like quote unquote more fair. You know, in the SEC, you need to have really elite recruiting classes to keep up with the competition. If you take real life, for example, Vanderbilt last season on the On3, a website that I've recently visited, had the 39th ranked class in the entire nation. Top 4 for a school of this caliber is pretty good, but that was still dead last in the SEC. You need top of the line recruiting classes. So I don't mind, doing the best we can to get as many good players as we can on the team. That being said, this particular strategy of kind of in the middle of the season, searching for 4-stars with no offers, and then heavily recruiting them and being able to steal them away might seem a little bit overpowered. So I'm willing to at least listen to some suggestions in the comment section for possible house rules. My current thought is that after week 2 of a season, because kind of week 1 and week 2, you're still filling things out. After week 2, we can't add any 4-stars who do not have any offers. As I think would be a simple solution to this that doesn't heavily nerf us from also pursuing a guy like Akeem or Awasika, who we're generally going to be in a heavyweight fight for, Also doesn't recruit me from getting 4-stars in general. I accidentally exited out. For this season, though, I'm not removing these guys from the board. I've already put between the two of them somewhere around 200 hours into them, and I'm not willing to just lose that precious asset of recruiting hours. Also, just kind of the nature of me trying to release this series daily. I usually record the next episode before I release the previous one, so I'll already have to have advanced the season by the time you guys are hearing this, but I am interested in hearing suggestions for future seasons. I really want to make sure that you guys feel like your voices are heard, because I do value your suggestions, and I'm willing to hear some things. I have heard suggestions of just kind of recruiting 4-stars in general. Like I said, recruiting in the SEC is enough of a challenge that I don't feel the need to nerf myself to that level. We already have the house rule against recruiting 5-stars early on in this series, but just want to hear your thoughts. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the status update here for our recruiting. And wasn't a good showing against Alabama. It's not getting any easier. We've got Kentucky in the next episode, and we might be losing our winning record. In fact, I'd say it's a pretty dang good chance, but still enjoyed this episode. Hope you did too. Again, give me any suggestions you might have in the comment section below. And I'll see you next time for Kentucky. Anchor down.